Hey everyone, in today's episode, we are sitting down with Carli of North Dakota Elite. Carli was a coach for 8 years before she had the opportunity to purchase her gym. And amazingly, the former owner still works in the gym under Carli as one of her coaches. So if you are a coach who's wondering how you can take the path to being a gym owner someday, Carli has some amazing points for you. And if you are in a smaller town learning how to grow your competitive program, Carli has some really amazing things that she's doing in her gym that I want to make sure that you're paying attention to and learning how she markets and how she has pivoted and made adjustments in a gym that existed for 8 years prior to her owning it. You're going to love this episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Cheer Biz Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Cotton, and today we are sitting down with the owner of North Dakota Cheer Tech, Carli Jordan, and she is going to be joining us to share with us her journey from being a coach to an owner and how she has grown her gym. Now, I'm going to introduce her. I'm going to read what she told me about herself before the interview, and then I'll let her take over and introduce herself, go into a little bit more detail. But I'm really excited to be sitting down with Carli. She's got a really interesting story. I mean, I have to say it's pretty interesting because it sounds kind of similar to my own. I'm curious to hear how that journey was for you now, a few years after I did it myself over here in Oregon. But Carli works full-time as the partnerships manager at an event center and is the owner of North Dakota Cheer Tech, home to 8 traveling teams and over 200 athletes. This is Carli's 8th year coaching and 2nd year owning a gym. Carli was on the UND dance team and graduated with 2 degrees in marketing and communications from the University of North Dakota in 2023 and bought her gym in May of 2024. In her free time, which apparently she has, she competes in the Miss America organization and shares her passion for inspiring active kids. So you do a lot. Right. You are working full time. You own a cheer gym. You still are involved in coaching and you work and participate in the Miss America Foundation, which is just crazy, or organization, to do all of those things. Because I know how much those participants do within the Miss American organization on top of everything. So just wild. So tell us a little bit more about yourself, expand on that, and help us understand who you are.
Yeah. So I like to say I wear a lot of hats. My 9 to 5, I work at an event center in Grand Forks, which I love. I handle partnerships. So I work with a lot of local businesses, which has been kind of a cool tie-in since I have Cheer Tech on the side, or kind of, it consumes my life, but it's been really cool to kind of connect with the city of Grand Forks because we're a smaller niche community. I mean, we're 60,000, but we're a big college town. So it definitely goes down a lot in the summer. So it's been really cool to connect with local business owners on my professional side of things outside of the gym. But yeah, I started at Cheer Tech when I was 17. I was working at Rider Valley Gymnastics, which is like our local gymnastics facility in town, and they were amazing. And they had a cheer program, but then they lost their coach and they just couldn't find coaching in this town. And I was way too young to take it over. So then one of the former moms her athlete was at the gym, she started Cheer Tech. Amanda Brandt wanted to provide cheerleading for the city of Grand Forks. We had no competitive cheer at the time after Rider Valley had closed their all-star program down. We had another team in town that did halftime shows, but they weren't competing. So it was kind of like an open opportunity. And then we have a gym an hour south of us who has kind of been like our mentor gym, North Dakota Elite, and they had been taking off with their all-star program. So Amanda kind of saw an opportunity, and then she opened the doors at Cheer Tech, and I went on over and started coaching for her when I was 17, and I have not looked back since. Been coaching there. This is my 8th year. We've grown from our first year. We had 3 elite teams, and we definitely should have been novice teams at that point, but we had 3 elite teams that first year, a tiny, a mini, a youth. and the teams had like 6 kids, 8 kids, 11 kids. We were very small. And now we've grown. We have 8 teams, 3 elite teams, a senior level 3, a junior level 2, a youth level 2. We have 3 prep teams. We just started a novice program this year that's growing. So we're definitely growing. We have a tumbling program, and I've kind of grown up with this gym since then. I've seen it go through. I'm the 3rd owner now, and I bought the gym from Hannah Fries, who was one of the former coaches, for Amanda as well. So Amanda sold it to Hannah. Hannah owned it for a couple of years, and then Hannah realized she wants to be a teacher. I mean, she still coaches for me. She's still very involved in the gym, but she never dreamed of owning a business, and I did. And luckily, it took a couple of years for them to pass it down to me where I was old enough to take it over, and I definitely have not looked back since.
Well, that's amazing. And sounds like that was a logical progression from someone who didn't want to own the business, but, wanted to keep it going, to now someone who wants to run a business and own a gym. So that's super cool. Tell me, what was your athletic journey like? So you were coaching at a gymnastics gym. You were part of the University of North Dakota dance team. So were you dance? Were you gymnastics? Were you cheer? Were you all of the above? What was that like?
Yeah, I started gymnastics when I was younger. I grew up in Fargo, North Dakota, an hour south. And then I really fell in love with dance. So I love formations. I think dance is still like my niche. I love formations. I love clean routines. I love transitions and all those kind of things. Like that's where I really thrive because that's what I grew up on. So I competitively danced in Fargo. I really loved school dance teams. I loved the idea of like all in sync. I wasn't in love with a solo, so I think it kind of makes sense that cheer is kind of what I was leading into. But I competitive danced growing up, and then my parents relocated to Grand Forks when I was in high school, and we moved here, and they didn't have a dance team. We were the only Class A school in the state that did not have a dance team, and so I was kind of forced into sideline cheer, to be honest. So then I started doing sideline cheer because I was like, well, this is the next best thing. And then my sister, or stepsister at the time that we moved up to Grand Forks, she was a competitive gymnast. So I started working at River Valley with her. I was in preschool, and then they had a rec cheer program and an all-star cheer program. And I was the only one who knew anything about cheer and dance. So they kind of trained me into that world. And then when Amanda left the gym, I kind of just followed her over there. So I didn't grow up with all-star cheer, but all-star cheer is new to the state. I mean, ND Elite is the oldest gym in the state. They're only 11 years old. So I was in middle school when they opened their doors. So I really had no idea that it even existed until I got older. And then obviously I fell in love with it.
Yeah, that's such a cool kind of progression. And it's crazy how life takes us those directions. I started with gymnastics myself. I never did competitive dance, but very interesting progression. And one thing I think people don't always know, if they're from other areas, is what cheer is like in North Dakota. And you kind of touched on it, that North Dakota Elite is the oldest cheer gym in the state. They've been around for 11 years. I've been to North Dakota twice, in Watford, so very small area of North Dakota. I think people don't realize kind of where North Dakota is on the journey of all-star cheerleading. How many gyms are there in North Dakota that you know of, or all-star programs?
All-star, there's 2 in Fargo, 2 in Grand Forks, 1 in Devil's Lake, and then 1 in Minot, and I think 2 in the West. So 8 total in the state, and they're all newer-ish. ND Elite's going into their 12th year, so 11 years or younger. So I always say North Dakota in everything is behind 20 years. Fashion, music, sports. So we kind of catch up eventually compared to the South or the West Coast.
Yeah, it's definitely been very interesting getting to be out in that area and just kind of see where cheer is at and how it is progressing. And I think it's really great to see gyms like yours, like North Dakota Elite, that are raising the standard for cheer. Even just working with North Dakota, it was 2 years ago, seeing the change just within their high school rules and how they judged from 2 years ago to now. They've made a lot of leaps and bounds. And I think a lot of that is because of, the all-star programs helping bring more knowledge and more understanding and more outside perspectives to help the state grow. So it's been cool to watch from afar. But tell me more about your journey as a coach, and then what made you say, you know what, I have a full-time job. I think I want to also run the business.
Yeah. So it definitely, it's a labor of love. I think we can all agree on. But when I started when I was 17, I had no idea what I was getting into, obviously. But I just remember I started and I had to wait. My birthday's in early fall. So I had to wait like a month until I could get background checks so that I could start traveling for USASF. So that's how young I was. So now I'm really passionate about like training younger coaches. I have a lot of high school coaches because I was like, I was you. And so there's no one's going to say you're incapable. And that's something I stand very strong on. But then I went to college in town. And so I kept coaching, and I just saw that like the previous owners, like they both had their strength. Like Amanda was very business money side, and then Hannah was very athlete team side. And I definitely wanted to like bring those two kind of things together because I feel like we jumped from one extreme to the other. And I just like wanted to see it keep going. And I saw a need to where, I mean, it was going to close if I didn't take it over. And it was years of conversation. It wasn't like one day it was like a big decision. It was more so like when I'm selling this, you can take it or it's closing. And those conversations started when I was in college. And so it was more so like me running running the show behind the scenes. I mean, I ran it for a couple of years before I took it over as owner. I ran it with Hannah. She was a full-time teacher and I was a college student. So I did actually have more time than she did at the time. And so I did everything. I did the social media. I did the invoicing. I did the scheduling, but she was like I'll bring in the big guns if I'm having a parent argument kind of thing. But it was definitely, I saw opportunity that I was like, I love the business side of things. I majored in marketing. I would love to get my MBA one day, but I don't know if I have time for that anytime soon. But I've always wanted to do something like this. I've always wanted, when I was little, my parents would make fun of me because it was, what do you want to be when you're older? And I was like in charge. Like that was it. So it kind of just was the best of both worlds of athletics, athletes, marketing, owning something. And it kind of just fell into my lap. So I started at the Lair Center that I'm at now the day after college. And I was transitioning into, hey, you might own it next year. But at the time, I couldn't just put all my eggs in that basket. And then when it was like, okay, no, it's closing or you're buying it. About 6 months later, I was like, well, it was never a question. So it kind of just progressed from there. And I've learned so much. I mean, I was 17 and I didn't even know what the score sheet looked like. And we were just trying to stay afloat, honestly. And then we went through COVID and then Amanda left and then Hannah took over, and Hannah was 22. She was younger than me when she took it over. She was also in college. And then it was more so like just trying to keep us both sane because I was 20 and she was 22. And then she got her career and that she fell in love with teaching. And she's like, I just want to coach, which is what she does now. She's like, I don't want to do the invoicing. I don't want to do any of that. And I was like, well, that's kind of where I thrive. So it kind of just was so natural in the way it progressed. And yeah, I love it.
That's amazing. So tell me, if you can, without violating any NDAs or going into anything you're not comfortable with, but as you looked at buying the gym from the previous owner, so you've got an asset which has clients, which has equipment, which has those things. And I'm assuming just from the verbiage you've used that she didn't just say, here are the keys, I'm done. There was, you're going to buy it from me or it's going to close. And as a just got out of college student who may or may not have had like student loans and things already, but I know how much money I had in my bank account coming out of college. The ramen and me were best friends. I was in college and I was a cheer coach and I didn't have loans, but I sure didn't have a ton of money in the bank account. How did you go about, if you're talking to another coach out there who's like, you know what, I want to take over my gym someday. I don't want to start my own thing. My owner might be on the ready to leave. And I think we're getting to a really cool point. This is a total aside in the cheer industry where some of the old guard are starting to get old. And you're seeing more and more people who are like, you know what, I'm ready to move on, but the gym is at least moderately successful. And that's an opportunity for those coaches who've shown the ability to come in. So how did you approach that? And how did you structure that deal? If you can can tell us, how as a young coach coming out of college, you came up with the funds to buy a gym.
Luckily, I didn't have any student loans either. I was very lucky that I graduated debt-free. Part of that was Miss America organization. I gained a lot of scholarships that I've been competing with. Part of that was my mom works at the university and I get half off tuition. And then part of that was I was a great student. I had every scholarship under the sun because I took school very seriously. And I think part of that was my mom really pushing. If you get a B, that's not okay. So I was straight A student, top of my class. So I was really lucky that I ended college kind of with, I had zero loans. My only loan right now is the gym. Like my car's paid off, everything, which I was very fortunate because I grew up with great people to direct me in that way. But when I was looking at buying the gym, it can take a lot of like legality, lawyers, all the things. And frankly, me and Hannah were just both not interested in that. So I started my own. So she owned one Cheer Tech. I started my own under my own name, legality. So we started fresh. And then I did, what's the word? Asset sale or I bought the equipment from her.
Okay.
With the rights to like the Instagram and the clientele. But I started my own website, switched over websites. I did my own, I started iClass. Before that, we used like Wix. So like all that accounting stuff, like we completely separated. And luckily this happened in May. So we hadn't started a new season yet. So it was a really great time. Like everyone was done. Hey, re-sign up for June when we start elite program via this website. So nothing really crossed hairs there. I just bought the equipment sale. That's the word I'm looking for from her, which was really nice. But because it was a thriving business, I just had to show like profit versus loss to the bank, and they gave me a loan. So, and I had no prior loans against me. I didn't have that great of, I had good credit. I just didn't have that much credit because I was young.
Right. Because you're young.
So I have a higher interest rate and I had to put like 20% down. But luckily I have a really nice grandma that I already paid back. So that was really nice. But I just really grew up with like people who pointed me in the right direction. I didn't come out of college with a million loans and a bunch of credit card debt. I didn't have any of that. So.
Yeah, I think, and for me, like parsing that out for people listening who might be in that position, it's about looking at what resources you have and getting creative with your deal. Find out where the gym owner wants to exit, and is it a purchase of the equipment? Is it equipment plus the books? Is it a name and likeness? What are the different deals or things that you're paying for? And then find a strategy. So many people don't understand that. You can do seller financing. Like, hey, I'm going to buy the equipment outright with a loan, and then I'm going to pay you a certain amount of money every month to pay you off for the business side of it. There are just so many strategies. And I think and on top of, like you said, I have a really nice grandma. Not everyone has it, but you would be surprised what you post on Facebook and say, hey, I'm looking for help with this opportunity. Who might be out there? Who might want to support you in that endeavor. So I love it when I see young people get creative and use their resources and do it the right way. Mm-hmm. Super cool. So tell me, after you bought the gym, and it sounds like not that it was Hannah was the previous owner who coaches for you now?
Yep.
Sounds like she was probably one of those owners who was very focused on the mat, right? I want to be out there. I want to be coaching. And so the business side is not necessarily the focus. You already mentioned that you changed the website, you changed over to iClass, so it was running a little bit more systemized. What other improvements or changes did you make coming in as a new owner within these last 2 years that have had a positive impact on the business?
I would say just like the more opportunities we have. So before it was elite kids start in May, prep kids start in September, and you could tumble. Those are kind of our two options. Since then, we've added a full year prep program because I had all these prep kids that are like, we don't want to go to Florida, but we want to cheer all summer. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't I let you? So we started a full year prep team that first summer. We started a novice program now as well. And those athletes are way younger. And so their parents also are like, hey, we don't want to go to even Sioux Falls, which is like 5 hours away, but we'll go to Fargo for a Fargo competition. So I started a novice program, the more streamlined processing of like how to sign up for a birthday party, how to organize coaches, how to organize classes. I love that kind of side of things. And so I think just offering more options. So it's not like, hey, it's July. I have this athlete who wants to join cheer. Well, come back in September, or you can learn how to do a cartwheel kind of thing. Yeah, we always have something for them. Intro to All Stars is always running. There's always something so people don't have to wait, because if they wait, they're going to go across town to dance or gymnastics or the other cheer gym or different things.
So is there another cheer gym in your area?
Yeah, there's another gym in our town. They opened a couple years ago. So we used to have a team in town that only did half times like I talked about before. And one of their coaches left there and went to start her own all-star program. So we have 2 all-star programs in our 60,000 person town, which is challenging, but it definitely has been a positive in the sense of like, it pushes both of us to be better. And it definitely, like, I can't let off the gas. Like I don't have any time to breathe. So we have to continuously raise the bar, and keep offering different opportunities. So it's definitely been a positive, for me.
I'm glad that you see it that way, because I'm a big believer that, having some competition is a good thing. It raises awareness of cheer in your area. Then people start to see, oh, there's this gym, there's that gym, and more people start to get into it. So I think it's super awesome for you to view it that way.
There's definitely been like a shift, like in the last couple of years. Of the first couple of years we were here, I didn't even know cheer existed. What is this kind of thing? Versus, what gym do you go to? Like, people know now. And so it's definitely like that awareness level, which is amazing, because we are a hockey town, and it was, oh, you play hockey, or if you're a girl, you play volleyball. But now it's cheer's entering into the equation, which has been amazing for the state as a whole.
Yeah, that is fantastic. Now, you went to school and got a degree in marketing. How has that impacted you as a business owner? How do you approach your marketing for Cheer Tech?
Marketing is something that's ever evolving. So I learned a lot in college, but it's definitely a lot of the stuff I learned you can't even use anymore, because it's just shifted. I mean, we used to do so many marketing plans of write out all these different things, your 4 Ps and whatever. And now you can go on ChatGPT and they'll write it for you in 4 seconds. So it was definitely a great thing to have in my back pocket, but I feel like marketing is something you just learn on the fly as you're going now. So as a gym owner, I know that my demographic is young parents. So the 30, 40-year-old parents, where are they? They're on social media, they're online. So it's, how do I market to them? I mean, I'm not going to do radio ads for my business. I'm probably not going to do a billboard ever for my business, but I will do a lot of paid ads online, because that's where parents signing up want to see the cute picture of the athlete in the cheer uniform. And that's how I get them to sign up for their first class. And once they're in, I can usually keep them, but it's just getting them in the door in a town where gymnastics, dance, and cheer, there's so many options for young athletes. So,
okay. So what is your main marketing channel? What do you use the most?
I'd say social media, Instagram, Facebook. We try to push a lot of things on there. Like I said, we got a new website, and that's been really nice to like see the analytics of that come in, of how many people are clicking. We get involved a lot in the community. So we did like our community parade last weekend, actually. We walked in the parade, handed out sign up for tumbling now on these little cards, candy, bows, all the things. We're passing them out as we go, and just getting really involved. A lot of word of mouth. But I'd say social media is our number one channel for marketing. I definitely could expand on it, but last year I was trying to stay alive, and this year I'm more so trying to see how I can expand.
The first year is always that. It's just, you're figuring everything out, and no matter how much you ran the gym before, you don't quite understand what it's like to be the owner until you're in that position.
Absolutely.
So where is an area that you are hoping to see significant growth in your gym? What is your focus right now, in areas you think you can improve or get better?
Right now, I would say our enrollment numbers are up on the team side on all fronts. So the teams are doing really well. Obviously, every year you have a team, they just get better and better on the score sheet. So that side I'm pretty content with right now. It's more so the tumbling side. We are a smaller facility, so it's playing like a big, beautiful puzzle of how we can get tumblers in here at the correct time. So I would love to improve the tumbling side. We've done more coaches trainings than ever. We have more automated, this is how you run your classes, trying to make it more streamlined process, buying the correct stuff you need for the things, but mostly just trying to get coaches in here that love it and aren't just here for the 3 hours and then they're gone. And that can only start at the tumbling side, because if a kid loves to do the cartwheel, then they're going to do the intro class, then they're going to do the prep team, and then they're going to do the elite team. Once I get them in elite, I usually keep them, or prep. So I want to definitely improve when you walk in the door, we've never been here before, tumbling athletes.
Yes.
It's the farthest.
So you totally understand your funnel. Now you're trying to get more people into that top, right? And right now you're not upside down, but your bottom of the funnel is your biggest program right now. And so you're wanting to fill that top more aggressively, which is awesome. I mean, that's I think where a lot of us are constantly focused, because that's where we need to keep adding people in. And the coolest thing about this, I talked about it on another interview I did, but when you're doing that, you're growing the sport as a whole in the area. Like, those are the kids that aren't in it right now. It's not the pulling from this gym to get kids over to your gym. It's the new ones that you're helping find the love of the sport. So yeah, that's, I mean, such a great focus. What are you doing right now to try and improve upon that? You said streamlining and doing that. What does that look like?
I have a lot of young staff, so we've done a lot of staff trainings and different things, and spotting drills, and how to be engaged in the class, and how to get it really excited. And I have amazing staff. They're all 17, 18, 19. We're a college town, so a lot of my senior elite kids, they all work for me. Whether they're doing a flyer class or a preschool class or a level 2 class, they're amazing. And I think a lot of them have grown up with me. I mean, I've had athletes for all 8 years that are now coaching for me. And they're 16. They started when they were 8. And so it's been really amazing to see that those are the people that love it as much as I do, because they've invested as much time as I have. And now I just need to train them to be on the coaching side of things. And so I love teaching them how to be great coaches, and hearing their little, well, this happened in class today, or this parent said this, or different things. And I'm like, yeah, I've been there. I get it. Like, welcome to my world. And they're like, oh my goodness. And it's just been kind of cool. So a lot of staff training, a lot of trying to recruit younger college kids. I've always had a really good, like, senior college coaches, and then they all move out of town. So trying to get that coach funnel to stick around for a couple of years. I've never had anyone like leave because they don't like coaching. I just have them leave because they're moving to Colorado. So just trying to do that, and having the coaches really engage with the kids, because the kids really think they're superwoman when they walk in the door.
Mm-hmm. So what does your new member enrollment process look like? Do you do a special? Do you do a trial? Like, how do you structure it to try to get new people in the door?
Well, really not like a special or anything, but it's not a bad idea. We have like our iClass website, sign up now, enroll anytime. You can unenroll if you have like a different sport. So we're not like going to like lock you in all fall kind of thing, but it's mostly just getting them really excited when they do join, but no like exact process of, okay, if you sign up with this code, you get X amount off on your first class.
Yeah, that's something that we've found to be really helpful for gyms in trying to fill that funnel, is creating some sort of new member offer. You can do a paid, certain week trial. You can do a paid trial class. There even are some people who have found some success with a free trial class, which if you'd asked me 5 years ago, I would have said, don't ever do free. It's a horrible decision, but there are some methodologies that you can employ with that. To try and get those interested people who are just maybe a little hesitant, because there are people who are like, I know I want to get my kid in tumbling, or they're asking for this. I find your website, I sign up. But we're really trying to convince those that little bit more cold audience, not quite as warmed to the sport. And so things like a tour process, a free, a trial, a paid trial, those kind of things, and then a conversion process to get them implemented can be really game changing. We've also found that iClass sign up can sometimes be too labor intensive for those like that colder audience, just because it's like, man, I got to fill out all this information and create an account and then find like can be a lot. So we've found more direct enroll on website, fill out this form, get charged, you're enrolled, and then we take care of the iClass stuff has helped a lot of gyms, again, fill that funnel a little more expeditiously. I love iClass. I use it myself, and I'm begging them to have a streamlined enrollment process. I'm like, you guys just make it not be 32 fields, please. I just need their name, email, phone number, and put your credit card on file kind of. I want the Amazon level experience because that's what people are used to.
Yep. And I don't want to keep asking like, do you need help? Are you finding the right class? There's so many buttons. There's so many buttons.
Yes. Which sometimes by streamlining just a general enrollment without having to like pick your exact class, and then we'll help get you enrolled in the class, can also reduce friction on the front end for those brand new clients and really help speed up that enrollment process. But I don't want to go too far into that. I just always like to ask, and I can't help but take a moment and share with everyone some strategies that they can utilize. And really it comes down to, you've got a new website. I actually looked at it. There's, I have some recommendations, but it's definitely better than a Wix site. And I find the biggest challenge that people have with getting new members is not understanding social media and Facebook marketing, not having a good website to send people to, and not having a simple enrollment process and offer. And those are kind of the core components that when you dial all those things in and they start to just work together, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. You tweak every once in a while, but overall just continues to work for you. So now, taking it away from me soapboxing and doing what I do on every podcast.
I love it. I love that kind of stuff. The behind the scenes. I'm coming out to Oregon for that training.
I know. October, I'm very excited to have you out here.
I'm excited. I love hearing about all the things. So
we're going to dive deep into all of it. But I think it'll just like anything, you definitely have some experience. There'll be some things, and then some new things that you're going to pick up for sure. What is something that you have found that you love about owning your gym?
I love that I have the ability to make like a difference right away. Like, for example, so-and-so is having a hard time. So-and-so wants to be on the team. They are struggling with this. I love that I have the ability to be like, I got you. Let me see how I can help. Like, I want to be there for them in terms of like having a family issue. Yeah, don't worry about the bill that's coming up this week. Like, let's push it off to the next week. I love that I don't have to jump through any hoops to like be able to help out someone that I know really needs it. And I love just kind of growing up with the kids, like I said, and seeing them flourish and seeing them go off to college and start coaching for me and come back and talk about how we just had our first athlete who she grew up here competing, went off to college. She was on Tritons and they won on the band shell last summer. And it was like such a cool, like we helped do that. Like we helped train her and that she got to go off and live her dream on the college level. And being the owner, it's just, I have the ability to like make those kind of dreams come true, whether they're really young and they really just want to learn how to do a cartwheel, or I'm preparing to go to college. Like, let's get our full on the floor so that I have a spot on the dream team kind of thing. And it's definitely a passion project, but being the owner, I get the ability to make the decisions I need to make for the kids at heart. That's really where I always try to like remind myself if I'm having a bad day, if I'm having a bad parent conflict, if I'm having whatever, it's just thinking back to those kids that have graduated and moved on, and those kids who have been here since the beginning, and those kids who are continuing to join because they see something that they love it here. And I had a role in that. And these doors could have closed a couple of years ago. They could have closed when Amanda left. Like Hannah could have said no, and I wasn't in a place to do that. So the fact that all the stars have aligned, that we have been able to keep this thing going and like make an impact on kids' life, is the number one reason I love being an owner, and the number one reason why I have two jobs, so that I can keep the lights on and just kind of keep seeing it continue to flourish and grow.
That's amazing. Like, and that is ultimately, it's why a lot of us get into this is that exact reason. So tell me, what does it look like to still be involved with the Miss America organization? And does that have any crossover into what you do within the gym?
Yeah, so I grew up competing in the Miss America organization. I'm technically still competing, but you pick a platform when you're in the Miss America organization. So I've competed for Miss North Dakota on the platform Active Kids. And so I talk about to athletes or to students, like if I were to become Miss North Dakota, going into schools and talking to students about finding something you love, because life is really hard and you're going to go through trials and things are going to really suck sometimes. You're going to fail your math test. You're going to get broken up with. You might experience a loss. And where do you go when those things happen? And where do you turn to? And what I've learned at Cheer Tech is a lot of the athletes come to practice. I mean, I've had a couple athletes whose parents have passed away and they have came to practice that day. Like, and it like hurts your soul, but it's also like, this is their safe space. This is the place that they love. And that's like the message I would love to talk about as Miss North Dakota one day. And I talk about as a local level. And then I talk to my athletes about on the coaching level. It's like, this should be a place where when life gets hard, you want to be here because it's a positive influence on you. And if it's not that place, that is okay. But you need to find that thing that does it for you, whether it be sports, whether it be theater, whether it be art club, just getting involved outside of the iPad. I mean, we see mental health is just going down in the country. And I just think it's because people feel so alone and they're on TikTok and they're scrolling and they're seeing the really terrible things that are happening across the country. And I just think they need to get away from that sometimes, and they need to go to cheer practice, or they need to go to theater class, or they need to go to Girl Scouts or different things, because that is where like all your memories are made. And that is where you make your best friends and the people who support you and your coaches that you look up to. I mean, my high school coaches, I was 15 and I still follow them on Instagram like they are Taylor Swift. Like they are so important to me, and I don't even know if they remember me, but it's like, that's what we're doing here at Cheer Tech. And that's what I wanted to promote as Miss North Dakota. So there's a lot of crosshairs because Miss North Dakota is a scholarship organization that promotes young women getting out there in community. And I want to get out in my community and talk to the kids outside of my gym, because it's not about cheerleading. It's about loving something and being dedicated and putting your all into a safe space, really.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. And such a good platform and such a good message to get out there. I'm with you on getting kids involved in things outside of their iPad and their devices. And yeah, that's an amazing message. Side question. Do you feel like you capture that message in your marketing and convey that as that's what Cheer Tech provides more than cheerleading?
I think I do with my team kids. We have monthly parent meetings. We talk about that a lot, but maybe not so much on the social media. I would love to. I mean, that is like the heart and soul behind it. But yeah, maybe, I don't know. Probably not if I'm doubting it. I'm not asking as like a leading question. You speak with such conviction about it. And that is a unique thing that makes your gym unique. And man, when you can find those things and put those as your forward facing marketing and get people who are aligning with those values, like, I think that's what makes you special. Because at the end of the day, we're all selling cheerleading. We're all selling how to do flips. It's all the other stuff that makes us unique and is going to attract your client avatar. So I think that is, man, if you can figure out a way, if I were to tell you between now and the time you come to Oregon, if you can figure out a way to bottle that up and we can start to like apply that to your marketing, that's your rocket fuel right there. We post a lot about like our Eagle family. We're the Eagles, Cheer Tech Eagles. Like we are, like we always push that narrative in terms of like Eagles, ride or die, we always say, because it's more so like the family aspect, supporting each other, uplifting each other. I don't care if you're a novice athlete or a senior elite athlete, you will go to every team performance at a competition. Like you are standing there for the other 7 teams because that's why we're here. Like we're here to support each other. We're all one gym, and we push that camaraderie. And I do think it makes it easy to, like when I'm talking to parents, like that's why we do it. It's not about your athlete flying. It's about your athlete's team succeeding and the family and the grouping together of like-minded people. And that's why it's kind of been like a learning lesson, but it's been easier to when we have lost athletes, if they just don't fit in the environment of like, it is all of us together, which is we try to tie in that heart to it in that way, but we could definitely push more of that on social media to show people the heart behind it. It's not just family because we say it is. It's family because that's why we're here.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing. I have no doubt that you do it in your gym actively. My curiosity was just like, I wonder how well people see that. Like if I didn't know, having had you tell me that, and I just looked at your social media, is that would I walk away going, that's what makes this place cool. That's what makes them special, because it's such an amazing message. And I think it is so needed right now in today's culture and day and age, and just where we are at right now as a society. It is very needed. And in a world where, kids are turning to AI to get advice on life, and like, sorry, the robot can't tell you how to handle that problem with your boyfriend or girlfriend. Not with, they might give you some canned ideas, but it's not the same. So yeah, pretty amazing message. All right. Well, I've kept you for a while, and I know you are currently also at your other job, full-time jobs, whatever. Is there any parting messages, parting things that you think are relevant for any other gym owners out there or coaches out there who are listening that you want to make sure you get out to them?
I would just say more so like, if I'm speaking to coaches, right, I always tell my coaches, like, we are here because we love the kids. We are here because we are, this isn't just a job where you get a paycheck and you walk away. If you can find a job or a place that makes you feel really loved and included and happy and excited to walk in the building, like, hold on to that. And that's kind of what I did when I was so young. I didn't think I was going to own the gym when I was 17, but I never wanted to let it go, and I never wanted to see it shut down. So I just did everything in my power, whether it was helping run it or was it coaching at it to start or helping run it in the middle to owning it. I just found something I loved and like continued to pour everything I had into it because I know it's worth it. So if I'm talking to like gym owners or talking to coaches, it's find that does that for you. Whether a lot of people, that can be your relationships and your family, and that's just what you want to pour all your heart into. That can be your place of work. That can be your school work. For me, it's Cheer Tech, and I just pour everything I have into it. And as Taylor Swift said, I get tired a lot, but I'm never tired of it. And that's just what I say. I mean, I have 2 full-time jobs, and I definitely could use a nap, but I don't want to because there's always something to do. And I know I'm young and I have a lot more energy than I might in 10 years, but it's just find something that like makes you want to work harder at it. And that's what Cheer Tech did for me.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your inspiring message. Can't wait to meet you in person in a month. You'll be here. You'll get to see this studio. It looks much cooler on camera than
I'm excited.
But yeah, we're excited to have you out here. Thank you so much for your time. And everyone, thank you for listening, and we will catch you on the next episode.